And Woking are one of our two featured clubs on non-league chat here who've been good enough to give us home highlights. The other club being Forest Green Rovers, who recently have propelled themselves right into that playoff mix. And as we can see now, thank you very much to their media team for this. We're about to get highlights from their game against Grimsby on Saturday, where they claimed a really important 2-1 win. Enjoy the goals, and we'll continue to talk as the highlights play for you now. So, this was a really important playoff battle, wasn't it? And a really valuable 3 points. It was very, very important. And as we were saying off air, and you just alluded to there, it's a win that has propelled Forest Green into the playoff positions. There's a few teams chasing them, and I think it's really hotting up around the playoff places at the moment. I think from a Grimsby perspective, they'll be very disappointed to have lost the game, particularly to lose it with only 6 minutes of the 90 to go. I think, I went to Forest Green to commentate on the Woking game in December. With no disrespect to Forest Green, they ground out the result on that day. They played to the conditions and battled through the conditions that were in their favour in the first half. But I didn't think they were a great footballing side. But they're obviously getting the results that they need to be in the final playoff place at the present time. And as we can see in front of us, they've really started to find a sense of attacking flair. You've got guys like Parkin, James Norwood, whose talent is undoubted. There's lots of goals in this team, isn't there? Yeah, John Parkin's been absolutely on fire. He got the Conference Player of the Month award for January. He scored a couple of braces in recent games. He seems to be scoring almost every game, to be honest. And not only that, they've got a couple of players to keep him on his toes as well. You've got Stuart Fleetwood, James Marwood. There's so much attacking quality there, and they've got quite a sizable squad, I'd say. They could be dangerous. We can see that as well. Another of them, those very good attacking talents. They've got Elliot Freer, who impressed so much at Salisbury last year, and across that last minute, various moves. There's that sense that first goal was always going to be Forest Green's, wasn't it? Yeah, you can see a lot going down the channels there, and the ball going in the box. And I think when you've got a guy on fire like Parkin is at the moment, player. Go and upset the team that finishes second. And I mean, in that part of the world, how big would a Bristol Rovers Forest Green two-legged semi-final in the playoffs be? That'd be huge. And with the squad they've got, and they're showing with this game here that they can pick up the wins in the big games. I think it'd certainly be a game to behold. It's Curtis Guthrie own goal that got Grimsby the equaliser, but generally Forest Green having much the better of the game, and by all accounts, even Grimsby fans, they deserve the 3 points, and that can be really important because this could be a playoff fixture in 3 months, couldn't it? Absolutely, yeah. This could be a good a good thing for both sides as to how they could perform, as you say, in a playoff game. I think going back to Parkin, I think the thing about him is when he's not scoring goals, he's a big presence and he's a real nuisance to defenders. He's very difficult to play against. He's got a lot of league experience behind him, and he just makes a real nuisance of himself, very much in the way that Akindi does at Barnet. All right, he's got more goals, but he's a difficult player to play against. When he's not scoring goals, he's very pivotal to the team in his hold-up play and as a target man. He's obviously now started to find his scoring boots as well, Parkin. So he's becoming much more of an influential figure, maybe. And we mentioned James Norwood comes off the bench, as we'll see in a minute, and scores his 50th league goal for Forest Green. Is it almost a surprise, gents, that he hasn't? I mean, obviously Forest Green don't exactly pay tiny wages, but is it still a surprise that maybe a League One club haven't had a look and thought about it? Yeah, I mean, maybe we've seen a lot of players in the last few seasons. I'm thinking of Lee Gregory and Andre Gray and players like that moving up to the Championship, which is a really high standard. So, you'd think with players like Norwood that, a League One or League Two team, could potentially put a bid in. But, if he's there and he's settled, then, potentially, he could want to go on a journey with Forest Green. And if he feels like the club's moving somewhere, that might be what he's waiting to do. And as we've just seen there, that was a real gilt-edged chance at 1-1, wasn't it? Mm. Yeah, I think Hannah threw on goal there. I mean, as we can see, the very next highlight, is the winner, and that shows how fine the margins can be in football sometimes, doesn't it? You're at 1 minute, and the very next minute you've lost the game. So, I think Hannah will be disappointed with not tucking that away, but Forest Green have done what they had to do and got over the line. And Norwood does his thing and makes a point of being understandably delighted with that, and that was the goal that got them the points. Extremely important finish. And looking at Norwood as a player,
the fact that we've said this before, he's on the bench quite frequently at FGR. He can't actually get in the starting lineup. It says a huge amount about their squad depth, doesn't it?
Yeah, I mean, they're one of those clubs in the conference. Obviously, they've got a bit of money down there, and they can bring players in. And I think, as you were saying earlier, it keeps players on their toes almost, doesn't it? That you've got to be at your best to be there. But with other teams having money in the league, and they can probably pay similar wages, I wouldn't be surprised if someone else, maybe in the league or League Two, came in for him and said, "Look, we're going to build a squad not around you, but you're going to be in our starting 11 every week." They could have some problems on their hands with keeping hold of him.
Of course, at the same time, Forest Green fans, and you can see why they'd be optimistic about it given their recent form, would like to think that they can get in the playoffs and get themselves promoted this season and thus be able to hang on to pretty much anyone they've got. It's not exactly like they need to sell anyone urgently in terms of book balancing.